Welcome to this explainer. If you've been following Indian agriculture lately, you know we're right in the middle of a massive, game-changing transition for 2026. To really understand where we're headed, we have to look at the exact mechanisms powering this shift. Everything from government safety nets to cutting-edge precision tech and grassroots digital education. Here is the roadmap for today. We're going to breeze through the farming landscape, check out the latest financial schemes and MSP boosts, and then dive into the really fun stuff: the tech revolution, how farmers are leveling up their knowledge, and what the future of farming actually looks like. All right, let's kick things off with part one, the landscape itself. For decades, the absolute beating heart of Indian agriculture has been local trading hubs, right? We call them mandis. If you look at places like Neemuch, Mandsaur, or Rutlam, it's the daily arrivals of everything from soybean to garlic to medicinal crops that literally dictate the local economy. And tying all of this together is one staggering number: 70%. Because think about it, with 70% of the population directly tied to farming, modernizing this sector isn't just a food security issue. No way. It's the economic engine for the entire country. When we talk about upgrading agriculture, we are literally talking about upgrading the livelihoods of the vast majority of the nation. So how do you actually support a massive system like that? That brings us to part two, financial support and government schemes. To stabilize an ecosystem of this size, you absolutely need a baseline safety net. Enter the PM Kisan scheme. It's fully funded by the government, and the whole idea here is to give land-holding farmer families 6,000 rupees a year in direct income support. It's crucial because it helps them buy essential inputs, like seeds and fertilizers, without getting trapped by high-interest informal loans. But here's the smart part. They don't just dump it all at once as a lump sum. That 6,000 rupees gets chopped up into 3 equal 2,000 rupee chunks. You've got the April to July cycle, August to November, and then December to March. By pacing these payments directly into other linked bank accounts, the policy actually sustains farmers through the natural rhythm of distinct crop cycles. Moving right along to Section 3, let's talk about boosting minimum support prices, or MSP. Now, if we look at the hard data from the Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs for the upcoming seasons, the absolute jump in MSP is super revealing. We're seeing a massive 600 rupee per quintal spike for safflower. Lentil is up by 300, and rapeseed and mustard by 250. This isn't just random number crunching. It's a very deliberate push to heavily incentivize farmers to diversify their crops away from just the standard staples. That being said, staples are still getting a ton of backing. Just look at the expected margin over production costs. Wheat is sitting at a staggering 109% margin. Rapeseed and mustard are at a super healthy 93%, and lentils at 89%. This lines up perfectly with the stated policy goal of fixing the MSP at a minimum of 1.5 times the actual cost of production. All right, let's get out of the policy spreadsheets and into the dirt. Section 4, the 2026 AgriTech revolution. We are seeing a rapid, industry-wide departure from the old ways of doing things. Traditional blanket chemical spraying, the kind that wastes a ton of expensive inputs and just wrecks the environment. Yeah, that's being left in the dust. The new gold standard is precision smart farming. Today, we're expecting over 70% of farmers to adopt digital tools. We're talking soil sensors, satellite imagery, and localized analytics to drop nutrients exactly where they are strictly needed, and nowhere else. And this whole precision mindset, it extends right into the everyday hardware. Heavy mechanization isn't just some luxury for giant corporate farms anymore. It's practically required. We're seeing highly specialized gear hitting the fields, like tractor-mounted bullet sprayers for orchards, or incredibly robust high-throughput pump systems. Paired up, they slash water waste and chemical runoff while seriously bumping up yields. Heck, we're even seeing drone-enabled robotic systems taking over the heavy lifting from the sky. It's like something straight out of sci-fi. But of course, fancy gear needs smart operators. That takes us to Section 5, empowering farmers with knowledge. Because here's the catch, right? A drone is totally useless if you don't know how to use it or why you're flying it. The way farmers learn today has completely flipped on its head. Forget the occasional stuffy town hall workshop. Today, Farmers are literally pulling up grassroots tutorials on YouTube while sitting on their tractors. They're watching specific guides on doubling profits with summer watermelon crops. They're digging into the actual chemical science of NPK fertilizers and even exploring wild new income streams like carbon credit farming. It's decentralized, on-demand education, and it's spreading like wildfire. And backing up that digital hustle is some top-tier institutional support. Take organizations like ICAR-CIARTA, the Central Research Institute for Dryland Agriculture. They are actively documenting these ground-level success stories and awarding farmers who manage to pull off climate-resilient tech in some really vulnerable rain-fed areas. So you get this amazing feedback loop where high-level scientific research perfectly meets grassroots innovation. So where is all of this actually heading? Section 6, the future of farming. When you step back and pull all these pieces together, the financial safety nets, the crazy precision tech, and this totally transformed on-demand learning, you get a much smarter, way more sustainable landscape. It's a world where robotic tools, data-driven policies, and highly educated farmers are finally working in sync. And honestly, that synergy is exactly what it takes to produce lush, export-grade, high-yield crops while actually preserving the soil and water for the next generation. So, I'm going to leave you with this thought to wrap up today's explainer. As this entire agricultural ecosystem keeps evolving at absolute breakneck speed, how will these modern data-driven farming practices ultimately transform the quality, the cost, and the sheer sustainability of the food that shows up on your dinner table tomorrow? It's a wild transition, and it impacts every single one of us. Thanks for hanging out with me, and keep questioning how your world works.